Hello, everybody. This is Lee Phillips, Journey of Truth. We are here at the City Council Chambers for the Downtown Development Authority called meeting. It is Wednesday, March the 4th, 2026. The meeting will start at 6:30 p.m. It is now 6:23. So we're tuned in and we're going to be ready to see what's happening with the Downtown Authority. Y'all hang tight with us. Let's see what's going on.
Yeah, I know. Well, did they ever get the checks done?
Yep, we got it all done. All three of us are on there. So I want to make sure that you,
No, I'm good. I had put in for the, there's three slots, but two of them are already on board.
oh my God.
I saw they know you reapplied, but you don't want for the DDA.
They reapply?
That's all. Well, through the website,
Yes.
they had that for Monday last week.
Oh, is it? Well, who else is due to reapply?
Me, you and somebody else, I don't know.
It seems like I think it was. I don't know what the deadline is.
Apparently, they don't know. They don't know the price. I don't know, I just saw it on the agenda for Monday night.
Well, you don't work 30.
I didn't go.
You don't?
No, they called it off until Friday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I tell you what, kind of dragging. I did team replacement, and I had my blood drawn, they said I had too high red cell counts, so I had to go today and have a couple of very well planks. Blood taken off, so I could, they said if not, I would have high risk of stroke. Too many red cells, yeah, when you take team replacement, the bone marrow, produces more red cells. They said I'm supposed to be 51%, I was over 60, so they said if I didn't get taken care of, I would be at high risk of stroke.
That makes it kind of bad.
Hey,
2 times there, 3 times
how
there.
you doing?
Not for a
Who
minute.
are you sick of me on today? I just got done getting sick on somebody
2 pints less of blood on.
at the library.
Jeez, I'm a little,
Oh, yeah, no, why are they coming down our street?
yeah, you know.
Well, they
If you need a ride home, I said, that's what it is with their stuff.
Yeah.
They need to go down Main Street.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a state road.
Right next to, right close by. You don't need us. I just think it's in that truck, punches in the address, and drives it home.
Well, it'll drive itself, but it won't, you can't, you have to pay it, if it comes up to a road, you have to turn, you have to manually turn, but it'll stay in traffic, back up.
Well, that was 90% there.
Yeah.
Is that a big one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Is that all of it?
Yes.
I guess it's like Allen.
I did.
He got high,
There's one extra service.
I had to run extra, a different wire, it was 220.
I know you the one that's gonna do
I
it.
ran enough in case I had to have another one, so I could
You
have.
ain't even got a driveway big enough for all of it.
But it's definitely worth it, you know, really isn't that great to go on a long trip, along the side, we charge about 50%.
well, you know.
You charge at night, instead of the power, you can go full charge about 7 goes. Between 11 and 7.
Most of the time they have an EV or.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, you brought some company. already said, I said, just wait till there is absolutely shut down. Well, that's where they gave it to me.
Have you ever run into the questions up there?
Size of the chambers. Mine's 75 feet. This one's 75 feet. This is the one that we problems sometimes. Mine was 3. They just showed me on the thing and measured it. Because it hurts you a lot. Depends, this is also how long
I guess it's a lot.
No, that's not right.
Aaron, you're in a power position.
Oh, I have no power. Now listen, I'm in the shadow of this lady right here. All I do is keep her dust.
I also agree with this.
Yeah.
That's why we on this seat. I saw all that. She did it all the way.
I mean, I can't raise it up. Now, there were times, I mean, like sometimes I can do this. Like right now, I can do that. I do that exercise, but I'm hoping it'll be.
I'm not passing it down to you guys in order.
Yeah, I hope yours does. Yeah, I hope it stays like it is. I can live with it like it is. That must be hard not knowing. It is the same thing with my heart. I never know how the cardiac episode was. I don't know. It's very difficult. I don't know. When I have a gallbladder, there's my, is it like you throw your ball in that part? Yeah. Very difficult. Did I break my leg or did I drive? I still yours? Sorry, baby. That was
Tell me about it. That's probably what ran away. I don't like
All right, looks like we're about ready to get started here.
That's how it's simple and complicated. Like two tracks. That's what I was. Yeah, that's impressive.
Here's y'all's three.
This budget.
That is bad.
Well, that's Pecan Street right here. She's got one drawing. Remember that one drawing she showed?
Here's those.
Tyra been working, man.
This looks pretty good.
Whoa.
This is something she
Here you go, there's two for
Well,
y'all.
she did so much shit.
That's such a Tyra Arbel's hand, she's not screwing around.
We ain't letting nobody say we ain't working.
You can even-
Melanie,
you can
I
actually
brought
do
you
rooftops and
copies
stuff. You can go
too.
on down right here.
Thank you.
Look at you, Rayton,
Kathy.
That looks so good.
all up in it.
Did you, give it to us,
has the packet, but I didn't know how to do the stuff I added today. Terry did some stuff and I did some stuff, so a lot of it's on the screen except
I
for.
was just saying that way that people at home can see it.
You
What
have
put
the
on the
pa-
screen.
Yeah.
What you put on the screen shows on YouTube.
You have the packet I uploaded, right? That's not Kyle.
No, that's not Kyle, that's Brian. I'll share it with you. Just everything should get it out.
Jamie, this is your job now.
And I need a pen, and I brought my receipt.
Does anybody have a pen I can borrow?
Here's all the pictures.
I left my purse at the office.
There should be one behind my thing up there.
Yeah, I just find
I usually stick one up in there somewhere, next to the Kleenex box.
Oh, I see.
Put it back though.
No.
Okay, it's it's 6:34, so we're gonna call this meeting to order. Danny is not here to tell me when I mess up on things, so
Wow, that's
I'm a little bit nervous. Mike does know a little bit better than
Mike is
I
voluntary.
do, so yeah. All right, so we're all here except for David, correct?
Of course.
All right, and you guys all have the agenda or saw the agenda earlier this week, so we need to make a motion to adopt that agenda with no changes unless someone needs to
Make a motion.
make a motion.
Second.
Terry
I'll
motion
make a motion.
and Jamie second. And the approval, did anyone have any things they wanted to change about last meeting's minutes? Yeah,
We got the agenda.
we adopted the agenda, yeah, now we're approving the minutes.
We used to have adjournment and then public comments. Usually it's public comments and then public comments.
Oh, oops.
But I mean, we can go either way, it's fine.
What do we do? Vote to change it?
Can we make a motion to,
Good for what's going on.
can we
Okay.
just make an amendment, make a motion to amend, which is,
I just say, like, we can go public comment.
Okay. Approval of minutes, we need a motion for that, right?
I make a motion to approve minutes.
Second.
Joanne motion, Brad second. Treasurer's report is no change. I will say that after we went down and got the bank account straightened out, I took the $25,000 check from the city, but it was already expired. So Natalie is cutting us another one. She is aware of it, so it will go up that $25,000 finally. Brax. So that's just the report, nothing's changed, we don't have to talk about it. Right, and so let's move right into old business. And that is only departing members and new members. So we know Michael is on his way to planning and zoning. Terry, they have your application and you will be, enlisted at the next meeting on Monday. Brax, they do not have yours, and we're all here to intervene and find out why.
We're here.
You haven't, because it's past the time. So the city is going to open you up for another month. But we need your application.
Okay, I'll get an application.
Okay.
Jenny emailed them to us if you Google it,
Okay.
Google search.
I've been on
Brax,
the
you
I've been
can
on
do
the
it.
fence, honestly, so I'll look at it, talk with the wife, and I'll submit it for we'll talk.
Your wife doesn't get a say. Joanne's your wife when we're talking about DDA.
They do.
Then the other thing is no one else has applied. So I checked today and not a single other person has applied. So the city is going to open it up another month so that Brax can complete his application. But if you guys know anyone who wants to be a part of this,
Yeah, he's sitting right there.
Terry,
Terry Malcolm.
That's right.
we're gonna need you to join
What about Lee Phillips?
Lee, you
Who
live
would
in
film
the
it?
city limits. Yeah, we just need someone. So if you guys know anyone, they have another month to
I'm
go.
way too busy.
He's too busy, guys. He's
There's
not
nothing
like, he's not like us.
Because you're always here.
I have to keep my stress levels down because of my medical condition, and that probably wouldn't be a good opportunity for me because it would keep my stress levels up way too high.
Braxton turned up.
Alright, so that's it. We just bully Braxton into it. Jamie, you were not, yes, sir.
Do you know when this tournament, I thought it ended April first, something like that, it says April first. So,
I thought it was April 1st too.
okay, I was planning on April first, that's why I asked.
When do you go to planning and zoning?
There's like 6 applicants, so I may not be.
You will.
Is that your way of saying that if you don't make it there, you're coming back?
No.
He was already leaving us before.
I tried.
Should we be sad that you like them
I'm just
better?
proud of him for
I
sticking
read the
around.
thing today, there's 6 applicants for 3 positions, but 2 of the applicants are already board members.
Okay, well, anyone out there on the planning and, oh, that job pays though, so we might not.
That's a paying job.
That's a paying job, we can't compete.
We're in some.
Alright, so we're gonna, move right along to new business. So we're gonna have 2 meetings this month, obviously. We're having this meeting to replace the one that we had to cancel, and then we're gonna have one on the 21st. So, there's a lot of information here that we might wanna look over for a while and re-discuss on, the next meeting, which is the 21st. The only things we really have to do is we have to elect a secretary to replace Michael, so at the next meeting. And what I would really like to do is approve the for sale sign so that we could at least get that up if it's okay. So, if I feel like I'm moving fast, just know that I just don't, we could be here all night talking about this.
Don't we have a discussion about ourselves then?
Yeah, I have it in there. It's on the thing to discuss. Yeah. And I just put some examples in there. So there's other things before we start talking about all of this stuff. Both versions of the RFQ and mine and Terry's drawings are in front of Paul right now. I only sent them to him yesterday though, so he hasn't had enough time. So anything we decide or talk about tonight is all pending his approval to make sure we haven't done anything crazy that we're not allowed to do or anything like that. I'm pretty sure because I used his examples that it's not. And I did get a little bit of feedback from the city that it's probably good, but we need to hear that from Paul. And then the second thing I guess is that we all have different ideas and different backgrounds, so I don't want this to turn into like an angry argument. If you hate what Terry did, then he didn't do it purposely to upset you. Same thing with me, mine might be a little, especially when we get into the future projects, you guys might be like, that is not what we want, that's too aggressive. I'm not trying to do anything, so it's here so we can vote, we all get in the same amount of votes, and if you hate it, just don't vote for it. But we're all still gonna be best friends at the end of this meeting, okay? So, let's move right along to the RFQ. Did you guys get a chance to look over them in the packet? If not, there's 2 versions. So in the last meeting Paul came to, he gave us 2 versions. He gave us a very simple, non-specific version, which he said is best for the way we had kind of talked about doing it, just letting everyone just bring whatever ideas to us and we decide whether we like them or not, and it won't strangle them or, you know, push anybody out. Joanne spoke to GMA, I spoke to GMA, I also spoke to some other people on other DDAs, and they agreed if you want just everybody to apply, this most simple one is the one we're gonna wanna use. I do not think we're gonna wanna use the simple one because we are a very opinionated city. And I think we are going to want to put some design standards in. So this basically just tells them, hey, this is what we're doing. Here's, you got 94 feet of frontage on Main Street. If you want the others, you can have it maybe if we approve what you want. here's what we kind of want, and here's what you have to do to submit. You know, it's just basic. This is the simple, it's the one that says 254 Main Street and adjacent. No, you're on the in-depth one, so you wanna be on this one. Yeah.
Now, this is a simple one.
This is
I thought
the-
you were talking about the in-depth one.
No, we're starting with the simple one. This is the one I think for where I think everyone on the board, or whatever they call this, the development authority is, I don't think this is enough detail. I think you guys, especially from the last conversation, all wanted to be pretty more defined on what we're asking them to do. I don't think you guys wanted just the open cattle call. Once we go through the more in-depth one, some people might roll back and say, yeah, no, that's too in-depth, like, we don't wanna be that specific, we don't wanna hold anyone out. So everyone I talk to just says, when you do the in-depth one, it is going to get rid of some people who might be interested in it. But I think it's gonna get rid of the strip malls, like I just wanna put in like, you know, a one-story strip mall down the end. It will stop them from wasting their time if we kind of tell them up front, like, this is what we want, this is what we wanna do. So I do think, without any guidance from Paul or Danny yet, so again, just remember that the simple one is not gonna accomplish what everyone kind of said they wanted to accomplish. But it's done, it's there, and if he approves it, and then we decide that's where we wanna go, this one is done. Does anyone have any questions or comments or changes? And that's the other thing, like, I did this all myself with the help of Google and AI and a few people. So if you guys wanna change something, it's not gonna hurt my feelings. I just did it as specifically as possible, and I'm sure if we're missing any legal jargon, Paul will come in and rescue us from that, but I tried to get that all in as well.
I was worried about character, what things are gonna look like. So I don't know. Could be me, I'm just wondering, should we be more specific? Like, what do we consider a quality masonry material? What do we consider an articulated storefront bay?
Well, because this is a simple one, and it's the one meant to just
I'm
get,
sorry, I'm looking at the,
yeah, no, you wanna look at the simple one. We're not too in depth
why
yet.
didn't you tell me?
The thing about it is, the simple one is basically on the surface missing so much, we really just ought to just move right on over to the in-depth one. Because
Yeah, the simple one, I
it
just
addresses the
don't,
details that I think even the city council would want to see.
yeah.
Because I'm reading this thing and I'm going, this has nothing, and we would end up with some guy from, who knows where, so, well, I like those vinyl siding downtown. So we already know that's just not gonna happen, so.
No.
In-depth one.
And it will,
Would solve the problem.
it will save us time, but also remember, we can turn down anyone for any reason. So if vinyl siding guy did come, we can just say no.
Well, the thing is,
So-
even with this in-depth one, though, we could still cast a wide loop to people that are interested in making a proposal, because it has a lot of, design factors in here, but it's not burdening anybody with the minutia of having to sit down, I better price out this type of brick and this and that. They still can come with a overall vision, that's consistent with downtown, because that's stated in here too, the timeliness of downtown or Main Street.
Right.
All we gotta do is look down the street and say, well, am I gonna incorporate, the building designs from, Tacos and Beer over there, and maybe morph that over to the side buildings next door to 254. So it gives them that flexibility right there. So
Right, and the part you,
yeah, it is. It's just.
Just pretty much says, hey, we want something there, and, we don't
yeah,
care what it looks like.
whatever you want, tell us what you like, yeah.
Food
So,
truck.
as far as the architectural standards, the reason I wrote it this way is because you don't wanna specifically say like brick, or because there are other, like they're all glass. or there are different things, and we do want an open-ended, see what they bring to us, especially because we have lots of different looks. The look Terry went with in his drawing that I pretty much based my drawing off of too, because I like that look as well, is definitely brick. It also brings in, we're directly across the street, which is the Waynehurst building, and so we use the colorway of that. So I think with the pictures, so what I did was take city council's little blurb that they gave us that they wanted, and kind of broke it down into this with some of the things you guys wanted. Everything I read said that we should permit 3 stories. I just don't love the 3-story look at all. So that part, I would say, I put it in there just because it was a suggestion of so many people who are quote unquote experts, but I can't imagine 3 stories right there.
Well, if the 3-story is like a rooftop, like in that picture right there.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say, is the only thing that.
Like 2.5 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, obviously read through those and see if there's any, changes you guys wanna make, and we can get straight to the drawings. I started with Terry's drawing, cause that's what I based it off of, and I think that is like beautiful. On my drawing, I kind of turned it to the side, and the only thing that's a little bit different in the one I did was I did use a usable rooftop because city council used the language of that was something they might like.
It's pretty.
Yeah, so if we can get that in there, and then.
You a check for $25,000.
Yes, you do owe me. I'm actually gonna do it for half, just to save the citizens money.
Wait, I'm sorry, because I just want to understand. So this is the usable rooftop?
No, that's Terry's drawing. So we're starting with his, which is what I based mine off of, because honestly, he was like, I hope other people did something, and I felt bad, so I said, I better do something too.
I didn't, I just threw that out.
Yeah, so he drew this, which is a great concept,
Right.
but it didn't have the usable rooftop. So I just went and added a little bit to his concept.
Gotcha.
And then he has 2 maps. So I will say my concepts that I drew do not at all address the fact that city council specifically did ask that the trees be left intact if at all possible. So that is something my drawings don't, and we probably, I do think the RFQ said it in there though. I did not think about it honestly until I was going over this again today to see.
Well, that was one of the drawings that I did.
Yeah, you
There's
did.
Trees behind it, and I was thinking about how, if we expanded the parking lot on 186, maybe put a pocket park down in the corner, or maybe something, but you can do parking around a lot of those trees and still keep the canopy in place, There's probably 1 or 2 that would have to go down a part of it, but you got, on both back sides of that lot, you've got trees right at the road.
And I don't know if that's technically, if we're talking about like that one would be this, like, this is showing Bobby Boss, that's not the scale. That you can triple that, that's a long shot. I don't care how big these retail businesses are, you're not touching Bobby Boss down there.
Well, okay, we'll get to that one. Let's stay.
I'm just saying,
Let's
you can
stay.
leave the-
Yeah,
the whole
let's
thing and
stick
still leave the trees.
with Terry's
It's all I'm
map,
saying.
and then I'll get to that because I did use AI and it doesn't understand scale.
Okay.
So I had to edit it, and I didn't know how. I'm not an architect quite yet.
But I think what's attached to the art, what I do,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if I get now. You're showing 254 Main is the building and a parking lot, and then a parking lot on the other.
Which one are you looking at?
Yours, Terry.
Okay, well, no, I've got 2 drawings that have 2 different type buildings.
He's looking at this one.
Yeah.
So that one is parking all the way to the end, right?
What's this, both of them were attached to the
Yeah,
thing. The problem is nobody, developer's not gonna wanna buy a lot and just put a parking spot on it.
Well-
That's not gonna happen.
well, this was just a drawing with just the one building had, if the city if the DDA only wanted to do one building, and stick to the 254 lot, which has basically the footprint, because what this drawing is you've got the 186 lot and 254 lot as per the plat. That's how I joined them together. And then I said, well, maybe the DDA only wants to do one, but if the city in their desire to have more public parking, they might want to expand it, the parking down that way. If you look at the following, I think it's the following drawing. Yeah, the following drawing, I had 2 to 4, buildings there, which went further down, expanded the parking, and then put little 2 cottages down on the corner. So that was another idea, and that's why I left the drawing, that's why there's a blank sheet with the 2 properties on there, so you can kind of put in what you think you might like to see.
Well, the 2 townhomes, is that within the detention area?
Well, if you look, you'll see the dotted area on the,
No, that's the
plat.
detention pond itself.
That's the leading edge of it right there, that's not the pond itself, that's right there at the leading
That's
edge,
where the
and then it's
property-
not to scale, so, yeah,
Because I knew that took a good bit of that property when they made it.
yeah.
This is the one by Melanie's house?
Across from Melanie's house, yes. But also, these are attached to this RFQ, but we haven't decided on the foot.
Right,
Like,
I'm
this
just
is
trying to get
just-
my bearings.
No, I'm telling Michael that. So I attached them, but that doesn't mean these are the ones that are gonna go. We're just gonna kind of splice all of this together to give them an example, but when we send it, we're gonna say, like, it doesn't have to be this exactly anyway. These are just some ideas of things we would approve. They're still gonna bring what they want to us. And that's why on mine, my AI put this like notation on everything. Like, this is just an illustrative example. You don't have to do this if you have something better, but here are some ideas we have if you could help us incorporate them. So,
And it might be a point of negotiation that if we had a developer that came in that wanted both lots and said, hey, make me a deal where I can afford to expand the parking for the public and still come out with my buildings, that'd be a good deal.
And then we put in the RFQ, we need to either put 254 Main on there or no
We're
problem.
putting both on there. We're gonna throw all that meat out in the water and see who fights on what.
I wrote it with that the adjacent property was optional though, because that's what we talked, yeah. They're both on there, but it just says that the second property is optional. I don't know
It's
any,
optional, but it can't be sold independently.
it can be sold.
It can be sold.
Yeah, it can be. I don't know any developer who would just want the, like, if I was gonna develop it, I'd wanna develop it all
That's
personally.
what I would do.
But we'll just, like we said, we can deny anyone anything, so we just have to remember no matter what we put. So, then that was Terry's last one. He has the homes and the cottages. I'll just say, because everyone has been so against townhomes and cottages, I didn't even let that be an option. Anytime it was brought up, I was like, no, we're definitely not doing that. So,
Well, I just threw that in.
yeah, mine don't have that, but if that's something we wanna go back and change on, the AI drawings we did, we can. And then here is, I'll let Terry explain his building.
This
because-
right here is, Lee Phillips's idea. Did you know that?
Oh, underground.
Yeah, it's a 3-story, 46 unit live, work, offices with a lower basement area cut in. I saw that drawing that the people did where he had the block drawn, but he didn't have a building sitting there. And I said, well, that was an idea. And I said, this is something maybe somebody could, that somebody might consider, you never know.
Utilizing the space and the elevation that's available.
Yeah, so what I did is, I don't know if you saw it or not, but.
I saw a glimpse of it just a
That's
minute
you.
ago.
That's you. So, and that was just an idea, but like I said, when Tara probably get a hold of that thing and put that AI magic on it, turn it into something really beautiful. My little 3D paint just wasn't really getting the job done after I saw her work. But, that was an idea, and again, the building goes deeper into 186, which gives you more room for, which allows for more parking, and probably can save those trees, and, the whole 9 yards, which also kind of matches what she had in her drawing of the businesses going down Pecan Street somewhat. So that whole thing, right in there, you've got this alley alongside of 254, which I don't know whether the city owns that, or if that's something that the building could be built right next to the other building, because according to the plat on 254, it shows an alley right there. Now, I don't know if that's a common use alley or if that's a
We asked them one time before you were here, we're allowed to build up against that building.
Oh, we can?
I'm 9% sure I remember talking about that exact same thing, 254 butts to that building.
Well, when the city bought the property, there was a building there that was,
I just.
I mean, it butted against there, so
Yeah, I
I would
didn't know.
assume we could butt against.
So, well, that's good, because that means you've got a bigger footprint side to side, so that's even better. So, but that's what that drawing's all about, because if you really go down the road like that, that elevation does get higher, and you could
Build
put a
it
shop
in
down at the
there.
end on the bottom end of it, if you wanted to.
I mean, I think it's worth putting in there that, you know, we see potential, I just don't know about the cost of that. But,
Well, that'd be a developer.
yeah, that's what, so if they could, if it would help them save though, that's a great idea. And so then my 3 things that I did after I saw Terry's, just to have some contribution, but it turned out better than I thought it would. So,
Awesome.
if you spread out all 3 sheets, you can see the Main Street view, which would be a forward-facing restaurant. Now, everyone said do not, including, I think you guys remember, Paul said in the first meeting, do not, you know, anchor it down, it has to be a restaurant. So we want to use the language that it's restaurant ready. So the ceilings are high enough that the restaurant can come in and add what they want. But just in case a restaurant doesn't come along that wants that, we don't want it to be set up just as a restaurant or for someone to have to put. So what they would do is do everything that would make it so a restaurant could come in and put what they need to put in. Does that make sense? So I have it as restaurant because when Braxton did the interview, or not, the poll, it was like 90% restaurant, wasn't it? So we know that's what people want there, but we don't want,
That'd be.
yeah, that building, like Paul said in that first meeting, we want to build a building that's gonna stand the test of time, not just be one specific thing. And so it is marked restaurant just because that's what we think we want right now. And then below is if we did not do anything but sell the 254 portion, then that restaurant could go around and the parking could be in the back, and that would just be that. So that would be kind of the view across from Lee's house at the bottom, and the top would be across from Waynehurst. So that's if just that one parcel sold. That was my idea. Then if both parcels sold and we get to go all the way down Bobby Boss, then to Bobby Boss, then you see the restaurant wraps around, and you can see in the middle there's an entrance to like a courtyard outdoor dining. The rooftop is usable, and then there's 3 or 4 retail shops, and then Terry had parking on his, so I went back and added the parking behind the retail for mine because there's 2 schools of thought, is that people will walk and we don't need parking, but parking seems to be a little bit more of an issue from the citizens we hear from. So if it was just me, I would eliminate all parking, but I know that's not how we all feel, so I went ahead and put it in there. So you basically have the restaurant wrap around, you have a courtyard with dining in the middle, retail down the middle, and then parking, and then on the end towards Bobby Boss, after the parking and towards the split, we could add those 2 more buildings. And that's the bottom picture. It would be on the corner of Pecan and Bobby Boss, facing like towards Pecan Street. And like Brack said, this isn't to scale, so we probably could fit more retail in between where those, if you look at the floor plan, the first floor plan, we could probably fit more retail in between those. Or we could make more green space, a dog park, every, other ideas we've had. I don't know if we have enough business to fill there or not. And then the other thing is, on the picture of the Pecan Street view that's facing Lee's house, that over retail should be 2 stories, but I can't figure out how to do that. But all that top is supposed to be lofts and office space, like a mixed use. So when you look at the second story, I don't have my second story page,
You're gonna have to have some permitted parking, with this, because anybody that's renting a condo or an office upstairs, they're gonna have to have space.
that's a good point.
Yes.
Well, do they have to? Like, is it required?
Well, if you're selling a condo combination, office condo combination, and you're talking about loss, you're gonna have to provide a parking place for those people who bought those units upstairs.
So then maybe we could run the parking all the way down. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Like the parking all the way down and
And leave some for trees.
Yeah.
And then have the permitted parking, which would be signed and enforced, for those people who are property owners. that are
Right.
there. That way they can park their cars close to the lot.
yeah, and then still have handicap for
Yeah,
the area.
That comply with ADA.
Yeah, so, yeah, and because this isn't to scale, you could probably fit more. I think you could fit a lot more parking in there, honestly, because I kept thinking it was too small, but I don't, like I said, I'm not quite an architect yet. So then if you look at the second floor plan, you'll see I just did a mix of offices and lofts. And then the front is kind of like, I don't know if you've seen any of the more current, like, apartment complex types things, but they're making these like, group areas where you can hang out. There's like a fireplace and couches, so that's kind of what that is right in the front over the restaurant. Or the restaurant could be 2 stories. And then you have that courtyard and it would be open air, or we could put a rooftop terrace over there too. Or like they have here, you could add the 3rd floor open rooftop, just a small. So we have a lot of different options, but I think this would be a good, yeah, that they could kind of see what we like. Obviously, you guys can go through it with a red pen. If it's too many lofts, let's change some of the offices. If there are too many offices, you know what I mean? If the retail spaces are too small or too big, things like that. So, again, all of this is up for change. If we want to change anything, I can't promise you I can get AI to do what I need it to do, but I will try, yeah.
Grasping the concept.
Yeah, and I think it's a nice, but it doesn't take away from the charm of downtown, and it adds to it, especially if they kind of base it off the Waynehurst building.
Yes.
And the well and the town green. I think that will really help.
Yep.
And this incorporated everything that the city asked for, except for, like I said, the trees, but surely there's a way to save some of the trees in there. I just plopped mine down right over it, but,
Are you putting any suggestions, or are you putting any restrictions?
no, everything on there says that this design is subject to developer creativity and DDA review. So this is just like a hey, because what Paul said was, if you're gonna give an in-depth RFQ, those usually come with a master plan. Well, we said, no, we're not gonna pay for a master plan, we'll figure it out ourselves. So this is us figuring out ourselves, but it's not a demand or even a suggestion, it's just like a, here's kind of what we found, but we're open to anything as good as this, or better than this.
Well, my thought on this whole thing is when we figure out our RFQ, we go to our Facebook page and we post pictures of the plats. We post pictures of these designs that we all have and the guidelines that we have in place, so that when that for sale sign goes up, there's this QR code that takes you right over to the Facebook page, and anybody's got any questions, they can answer 90% of them right there. They got an idea what we want. A lot of the developers already have a lot of building plans like this already. So all they gotta do is look, well, I see what they want, and this is some ideas, and I can sit down and sketch up some myself and present it to the DDA, you know?
And if you look at other people's RFQs, which I've looked at about 1,000 of them in the past week, you can see buildings you can look at, and they turned out nothing like the RF. Like, they sent these kind of things too, and the buildings don't look anything like that. They're beautiful buildings, they did a great job, and they encompass what they wanted, but they don't look like the pictures that were in the RFQ. So I'm assuming that's standard practice, just kind of like,
Most developers.
yeah, we'll take your idea and move it more towards. like what we do.
I think the only thing that we're all in agreement for sure on, and correct me if I'm wrong, what did you say in the RFQ that was a little more detailed? Just a decorative stone or brick? I think that's the only thing we know we don't want is siding. Like, I'm fine saying that. It's pretty obvious.
High quality masonry.
High quality masonry.
Quality masonry material.
Great, that's.
Articulated storefront bays, vertically proportioned windows, and defined roof lines.
Perfect. I was just curious what we had said on that, because we don't want siding. No.
Right. And then also the RFQ also has the language at the end that we can stop this at any point. Like even if we say, okay, we'll do it, and then they end up like they're not, the plans they're coming up with aren't fitting, we can be like, never mind.
Okay.
Never.
In a way, right to terminate at any point.
Yeah, all the way through. Now, again, Paul hasn't approved that, so he might say like, you can't just tell them you can do that. Like there's not a way.
There are some examples where DDAs have helped, if they found a plan they like, the DDAs have helped, in some design work, defray some of the developers' costs. They've mentioned that in the past too.
Yes.
And that's something that, might help somebody, become involved once they say, hey, I've got this idea, but to really put it in a building plan, I need some help, doing that.
Right.
We
And
might be able to
there's
come in there and help that as well.
And there's also a lot of things that the city can do that we'll have a conversation in the next meeting, just because we definitely need Paul and Danny here for it, but about offering developers abatement and things like that. I'm sure y'all talked about it in training. I read into it more in depth, but basically it gives them different tax breaks to come and spend $3 to $15 million in our city for a certain amount of time. You're shaking your head now.
Yeah.
Why?
I mean, we're off on a tangent here, but it's, they're gonna turn around and make a lot of money on a lot of this. I never understand why we incentivize by giving them tax breaks, especially when we need, I've just always felt that way.
Okay. But like I said, we can talk about it. It might not make sense. Like I get what you're saying, so it maybe.
Well, I think all that would be approved by the council anyway. I don't think we would have any authority to do that.
Well, we're negotiating it,
Yeah.
so we would have to act on behalf. Like we're in the intermediate. So like if a developer wants to do it, and they're like, hey, yeah, we want to do it, but we're short this much money, we have to go to, from what I understand, go to Danny and City Council and say, hey, can you guys offer them a 10-year abatement or this or that to get them in the door? They will come and they will build what you guys want, but we kind of, because they're not allowed to negotiate anything, from what I understand, again, without Paul here.
What she was saying, and again, it's one of those, on both ways, I'm similar to her. The only time I think, like, Dad's proposed to city for years, it's like, hey, if you're gonna do any type of tax breaks, it's the existing building saying, hey, you spend this X dollars renovating your building and your exterior, that's when he's like, man, we should do tax breaks for anybody on Main Street. We can talk about that later on, but that's something that he said for years. He's like, if we want to get Main Street, the rest of Main Street looking decent, you have to give these people some sort of incentive.
Can you do
That's
that?
your dad?
No, yeah, just years
Yeah,
ago.
'cause I know he's
He's
been
like,
around.
It's like, hey, if you spend X and show us receipts, and let's say you want to fit, you've done it. He's done it too. But it's like, hey, if you make your exterior nicer, we'll give you some sort of break because thank you for spending your money and making your buildings look better. Instead of
Can
new
they do that?
buildings. Absolutely. Some can, yes.
We can give loans to help.
Well, that's what we talked about this in different ways. There's a lot of ways we can spend this to make things look better. Again, I think honestly, I think downtown's looking a lot better than it has in years. Between your buildings, yours, mine, even the sisters and her Ivy, like for the first time, I'm like, okay, I see progress. So it's not that it has to be done, but back when it was just being neglected for years and years, it's like, please give us some sort of
But this
incentive.
is the future, and we want to keep people so that if I see both points, is if we're going to give new people tax breaks, why wouldn't you give the building owners who currently own it the same tax break?
Some sort of.
Give them first.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
right.
I don't think the tax break's going to deter or promote any type of developer. That's my opinion to start. Now, again, 50 years down the road, when we're trying to get them to clean up their building, yeah, you might have to do something. Same situation you're running into.
Well, I think
Well, maybe that's something we cross that bridge when we actually have a developer that comes up and
Yeah.
says, hey.
I'm just throwing that out.
Nobody else, but if nobody comes up and asks us that, then we don't
Those
have
things are
to.
putting it on
Yeah,
the
we
road.
don't even have.
No,
to-
that's what, no, I agree, I don't offer anything unless they
Yeah.
need something majorly, and then we all majorly discuss that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm with her, I'm not gonna throw out free, if they're gonna pay their taxes, let them pay their
No,
taxes.
yeah,
But they're-
No.
you don't
yeah.
get the house, you don't get the farm before you even get started.
No, but I do believe that major developers, which we may not get one for these size land properties, do know about it and do
Oh,
come
for
in
sure.
and negotiate. But I don't know how big it is, so I just
I
wanna
don't
be
think we're big
prepared
enough,
for the
I-
conversation. And Danny and I spoke about it just a little bit after I did my training at one meeting afterwards, and I asked him, and he's like, yeah, we can do things to offset the cost. But it usually means like pulling money from other places in the budget, and he's gonna be the expert on that. And it may, like I said, it may not be something for those size of properties we're talking about that anyone's even gonna bring up. It may be, they're so happy just to get into downtown Loganville that they'll pay any dollar amount. And then the only other thing about the RFQ is that it suggested we let them know our scoring system. So I put everything really on like vision and alignment and less on the purchase offer. We keep 10% of it, so we definitely don't wanna take the lowest offer or anything like that. But we have the ability to make a decision not based on the highest dollar amount, which is why the city wanted us to do it, so we could get the right person. So I just put that as like a 10% of our decision making. So when we do get the RFQs back or whatever they send back to us, this will be our scorecard that we'll each score on and kind of decide where we are. Again, this is all just me, so we can change this if you're like, no, we need the purchase price to be more heavily weighted, or, financial capacities too heavily weighted, things like that, we can change that. So definitely, again, this is nothing we need to decide today because we're gonna really make the decision at the next meeting if possible with Paul and Danny present. But I definitely wanna point out just the highlights of things y'all might read and say, yeah, I don't like that.
So we're basically making a decision of whether we're gonna use the in-depth RFQ or the final RFQ. Is that
I
right?
think we made that decision.
Yeah, I think that decision's pretty much been made. I
Do
think,
we need to formalize that?
I don't think we should formalize it until we get, I just want all the information talked about, and if we need to talk about it, and if I know, like, already I've messed something up or y'all want something different, I'll go ahead and fix it
You messed it up already.
and get it ready for the next meeting. I stole all my ideas, got stolen straight out of your head. I just know how to use AI a little more. So that's it on the RFQ. Like I said, read it over. Obviously, we all text and email pretty regularly, so if y'all see some changes, send them to me. I will fix them. And by the next meeting, this will be back on the agenda, but it'll be more of a, here's what we want to do. And hopefully by then, I will have heard from Paul if there are any pitfalls and pass that along. Okay? So, next on the agenda is we have to elect a new secretary because our dear Michael's term is up. And I'm not happy about it because he is my favorite DDA member, but he refuses to stay. And that leaves us down to either Joanne Byrne or David King, because Braxton has opted out of secretary because he has a new baby. And so
David King is going to.
David King did mention he might resign, but he said he can make it to the next meeting. I think he might have been feeling a little upset, but no pressure. This is a lot, so we don't know what's gonna happen. So it sounds like someone should make a motion for Joanne to be the secretary.
I make a motion to Joanne Byrne to be the secretary. Unheard second.
Someone second.
I'll second that.
Joanne, welcome.
Thank you, Brax, she's leaving.
Michael will show you how to upload the minutes, and he
You
has
so could not have picked a worse person. Here's what I know about a computer. Turn on.
No, I can't do that, she has to come down here to do it.
Oh, the city will show
They
you.
said they
Then,
have to give her a log on and all that stuff.
yeah, the HR lady will call you.
Yeah, it used to be Christy Ashby.
Yeah, it's,
Oh my
She's really
gosh.
sweet. She's like the nicest.
Oh my God, it's something with an A, Ashley,
What's her name?
Ansley.
Ansley, that's her. She's very sweet. And if you're done about recruiters, she's nice to you. So, well, congratulations.
thank you for roping me into that. If you're watching, thank you, David King.
David King, come on back. You're free. He just stayed out until you made sure he didn't have to be
Yep.
the secretary.
Smart.
And now he's back.
Yep.
All right, so next, moving on, another information. We don't have to make any decisions, but,
Did we vote on that? I just haven't-
oh, do we have to vote? Oh, all
Well,
in,
no, I made a motion and Brax, seconded.
but we have to vote on it. Okay, so all in favor of Joanne Byrne being the secretary, say aye. Aye. All opposed?
I,
I knew that was
Motion carries 6-0.
we all saw that coming.
You don't wanna leave Brax.
I'm not
You
leaving.
know,
I'm not
really nice and
leaving.
you can't bring too much over here.
I have too much value.
That would be really nice of you.
Someday
I'll
I'll
finish
finish
it.
my life.
Oh my gosh, you're typing a lot of times?
Yeah,
This makes my soul happy.
it's just easier for me when you do it.
Yeah,
I started that was right with down on.
the last one is open right now. You'll be all right.
I'll be fine.
Okay, so as we've known for the past year and a half, I don't know, how long have we been at DDA? 2 years?
2 years.
2 years, we've been talking about how the city views us as the real estate arm of the city council, and it seems that, at least at the moment, they trust us with it. And I think after we put all of this stuff together, I kind of lean towards what Terry's been saying last few meetings, is that let's go ahead and get our next projects lined up. Because why not? If they're gonna trust us with it, we can do it right, and I think we really did 254 right if we get someone who can bring that vision to life. Then there are 2 other parcels that are free right on Main Street that are right in our wheelhouse that we would want to get involved in immediately after we finish 254, whether that be as soon as we sell it or after it's complete. It would, obviously, city council would make that decision. But here's some plans that we can have already on deck that we can present to city council. So, number 1 is the adjacent lot to the library. You know, we have that big area we own, the library is on half of it and the other half is empty. And I kind of circled it for you on the map, so you could see what we're talking about, because I get kind of confused about these plats. The top is the picture of the library, it's facing Main Street. This is the plan I got off of the Facebook page someone had posted, so that's my interpretation of how it is. And then down is a Google Maps where it kind of shows Main Street at the top, I believe that's Lucy Street and Church Street, and the amount we're talking about. So, last night, Terry did that top building you see. See, I'm not the only one who knows how to mock some stuff up now.
I'm working on it.
He did that top building, and so what I did was take his idea and drop it into the actual lot. So if you see his version at the top, I went and took it to the bottom. I didn't know how to make it into 4 though, so mine's only 3. But you see that's Main Street facing, you see Church Street, you see where the library is over at that green in their parking. And I invented something called the water tower shops, because you see those little tiny buildings, those are the ones like Auburn has, and I love them, and I always say, I wish we had
Oh,
those.
okay, I'm thinking these.
So and theirs are named the Whistle Stop Shops because they're right by the railroad, and if you look at that plot of land from Main Street, you see the water tower in the back. So I named ours that, and then that in the middle is green space, and that little river might be a dream, but I saw that you can add your own like river that repurposes the water. And I said, that is so amazing, I want that. So this is just like the all in all, I had exactly what I wanted right there, this is what I would go with. Obviously, we're not even on the hook to do this yet, so it's just an idea, but we could, you know, if y'all hate the Whistle Stop Shops, we could take them off. If the river seems like overkill, any of that stuff. And we would also add some more parking. Yeah.
Put all this work into this, can you talk to the city council about whether they'd be willing to give it up or not? Because I've heard different things out of the city council from this speech.
I have,
We won't know unless we ask.
Yeah.
I know, but I don't, why are we doing a whole lot of plans before we even pass, that's my.
Well, if you're asking.
Because we have to present it to them to get it from them. I think with a comprehensive plan that city council will do, what are they gonna do, just leave it sitting there?
They, your mayor and several councilmen want the park, they want to move the town green.
Well, that's,
No, I actually spoke to the mayor about this, and he said this would be a great second project. So I asked Brandon myself,
Fantastic.
absolutely, Brandon and Danny are both on board for this.
and either or, I mean, regardless if they do move, well, regardless if they move,
They're not.
if they move the town green, then we have a
Yeah,
great
They do not
square that
wanna
we can,
move the
you
town
know.
green now this part I didn't hear directly from them, but I've heard they went and visited other town greens, and our town green is actually extremely large
It
and
is.
bigger than others, so moving it seems silly. So I think they wanna leave the town green, but I mentioned to them that, hey, Terry really wants to see the other properties, and I mentioned the two we're gonna talk about specifically, and they weren't like, of course, they weren't like, yeah, let's do it. They were like, okay, that sounds, I didn't get any pushback on it whatsoever. That may happen later, but
I thought,
I think if we prepare ourselves to negotiate, I don't know why the city council, well, we do have our favorite city council lady out in the audience. Let's ask her how she feels about this.
About what?
The library adjacent, the one that's called Future DDA Project Idea Number 1.
I believe that is yours to deal with.
Well, how do you
What do
feel
you
about
think?
it?
Do you think that's a good
Do you think it's a
idea,
good idea?
or?
Do you have any updated information on possible new thoughts on those parcels of property?
I do not.
I know one thing I see on this that I know is one of Melanie's, tugs on her heartstrings, leaving the trees.
I'd say those water tower shops you could put right under those
Because
trees.
There are a lot of trees around, and I had a little design where the peripheral of those trees were still there, and which was a little courtyard behind those trees with the shops, like either on the side, like you said, or across the back, backing up to the back line of the library, where you preserved as much of that naturescape, and then had the parking off to the Bobby Boss side of the road, so that from Main Street side, you saw the park, the courtyard area, the shops, and then on the other side, that was where your parking and delivery was. But, and that's the best I can do with that thing right there. But looking at that, I know that, that's special, and that's part of.
So if
what
we
want to
got
try to do,
this,
you know.
like I said, it's hypothetical, but we can say you have to leave the trees, right?
Yes.
Or will that-
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
You design around the trees.
We can have, they can present us a drawing, and we can turn around and say, you see this box here? This is where you're gonna put the parking. You see this box here, and these trees right there? Go see Melvin Logan.
yeah. My suggestion is that we, in any RFP we do that, because honestly, Main Street has no trees.
We need those
It
trees
is
left.
very
Leave
obvious,
them alone.
like, that is the worst looking part of Main Street to me. Like, if I could dig a hole in the sidewalks and put trees in front of my buildings, I would, and that actually is an option, but we have those little bricks they sold to somebody, so I don't know. But yeah, Main Street needs the trees, so I'm all for saying you have to keep the trees there, because it's just gonna get more and more ridiculous looking without them.
The last thing I was gonna say about town green, we talked about one time, if the city, if they did end up moving it, which I think a lot of people are actually, the more I think about it, where it is right now really will be eventually, depending on how much we do with all this, the center of Loganville. Because at the end of the day, remember, the health department one day will probably be ours and probably be part of Loganville. Even the Sisters Yellow building that's almost dilapidated, that'll probably be sold one day and be part of Loganville. So in a way, one day that square will be the center around all the retail shopping and stuff. So I think at the end of the day, I think a lot of the council people think about that, and they know that square will be the center of Loganville one day. And I don't think it'd be a good idea, regardless if we ever have a decision or not. It's not our decision, but to throw the town green at the very end corner, I don't feel like I would want to keep that as the center hub. Now, that's what I like about your idea now with the park and stuff, and kind of a separate, not town green, but like a separate nature area with the shops and stuff. That fits down there. I just agree. I don't think, it's their decision, but I don't think moving the town green. The more I've thought about it, is I used to, throw it down there, it's bigger, but you want to be, that wants to be in the center. And one day we probably will be working on where the health department or whatever it is now.
And I think your vision is one vision where mine differs a little bit, because I'm for moving the town green down there. Because what my concern is, I'm afraid if we develop a lot of businesses the other end, everybody's gonna go to the other end, and that's gonna leave the existing businesses struggling to attract people, whereas if the town green were incorporated into another row of building and a shop square, like you said, including the sisters building, and you went down and reimagined the city hall with an amphitheater and a nice park right there with the parking, I think that would, and you've seen this happen where a shopping center goes in over here and they're there for a while, and all of a sudden another shopping center's built, and everything just multiplies over here because it pulls away from that. And what I don't want to see is the existing businesses like yours and Tara's and Jamie's get pulled down because we got a shiny new toy down here at the end on Highway 20. And that's the only thing that I would say. That's why I would differ on your.
Or are you saying though that, well, I think we're saying the same thing. You would keep the town green closer to me, Tara, Jamie, instead of putting it, what you're about to say.
No, I would put the town green right next to City Hall and the track. I even drew a picture.
But then you're saying the opposite of what you're, I mean, it doesn't matter, but then you're saying, then it keeps everybody down there and keeps people from me, Tara, and Jamie.
Your entertainment is at the end of the street, like for events and stuff, and your park's there beside City Hall. But you've taken the town green and you've made it, incorporated it by building businesses right there, right next to your businesses. And so you've got all these business activities down through
I
there.
got you. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, that was the difference.
You're good.
For
I mean, I don't see
my
anything wrong with either one.
Yeah.
For my personal, I would rather the town green be where it is because it forces people to walk past me, and my business is very much based on people walking and finding out. Where Broxton's been there for a long time, tired of it.
Like I said, that's a long vision, long-term vision.
And that really just depends on whether city council is planning to move the town green or not. I have no
But
idea.
it's also, keep in mind that City Hall and that field out there are your most valuable pieces of property for future development.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and as far as the,
You wouldn't want a town green on that lot out there.
no,
Because that's the
and
most valuable development.
as far as the city hall, or what is that building that used to be city hall now? The health department? My personal, and like I said, we are all gonna disagree on different things, so it's not personal, is that once we finish our round of projects, that city hall gets moved back there, and that front through 20 becomes part of downtown. Like, that's the most, like, we have all that frontage. If that building is dilapidated or whatever, then we need to fix it or tear it down or whatever, but city hall does not need to take up 3 acres of frontage if we're trying to revitalize downtown. That would be in a long time, but that's just my personal.
The city bought this property so that they could control what happened to it. And I think we all know what the plan for this land was, but I can tell you, they're never gonna move back into.
Well, the thing that.
Well, we rebuilt it, we
The thing
demoed
about-
it, built
the
it.
thing about that is,
You'd have to.
you're taking an opportunity to create a gateway, image to our town, which would be our new city hall, by reimagining it and sticking it over the corner alleyway where nobody can see it. And I think this would be a missed opportunity. Of course, you gotta remember, we all had a war about this not too long ago. So,
Well, if we
I don't know that we need to be meeting
The most
this
beautiful,
right now.
the most beautiful thing is, we start 254, we do it
Yeah.
right. We do, let's say your water tower shops,
Yeah.
you do it right. It'll quickly, you'll have citizens on our side saying, give them property because they're doing stuff finally with this. We do
I
our
mean,
job, we do our
if we
job.
could scale down City Hall and like put it down towards the corner, I mean, this is all hypothetical, I would. But again, we might all vote on it in 5 years and decide that we all want a Taj Mahal City Hall.
Well, I think, like I said, I think we're driving off the grass right here, but we're probably, I like this idea. Tara's on fire for it. I think we're all on fire for doing 254, getting it off the ground. And then right after that, we're gonna jump right over to his library and we're gonna wear this city out.
And then I have a third
Unless the
one
council
too,
grabs
because,
my dick.
I just was trying to go down and see what our whole, maybe year or two would be like, and this is actually the city hall parking lot. So if you look at number 2, that parking lot is the biggest waste of space on Main Street right now, and it doesn't tie anything in. And right in that corner is number 2.
Whatever is printed, it's only.
Oh, I might not have handed them to you, sorry.
I was flipping through this, we don't have it.
Oh, yeah. This is a second idea. Obviously, library is first, but if we come to a next one, I came up with this. So that area where we're parked right now outside in front of City Hall is just, you see that parking lot is empty 100% of the time. We've got that big grassy area, but that is all considered Main Street frontage and it's empty. And this plan I came up with does not at all mess with City Hall. So it doesn't include City Hall in anything. They would just have to give us this property that I have circled. The landmark would be right there at the corner, which is something we heard from Sizemore, would be like, this is the entrance to town. But what I really like that I came up with, well, I didn't come up with it, I got like 20 ideas, is that there would be an area for the courtyard. So if you flip over to the next one, I don't think this is to scale. So I don't know that all of this would fit on there, but again, I don't know how to do it. But you see in between, there's an entrance into a courtyard with a water feature, and there's more of the live work space, and none of this touches anything with City Hall. But if we got this revitalized and this kind of fashioned some parking over to the side, which my AI kept insisting this could fit just fine, and knew the specific that it was only 1.24 acres, and it kept telling me that's fine. To me, it looks like it wouldn't fit, but
Bigger than you think, it's a big piece.
is it? Okay. Yeah, so maybe it will, but this would be I feel like this would be great, and it doesn't mess with City Hall. But if we got 254, then we did the library, and then we did this, I think then the next discussion is, okay, now what can we do with all this City Hall? There's 2 schools of thought in the city from what I understand, from the people I know. Half of them say the City Hall building is a piece of crap and it needs to be bulldozed and rebuilt over. And half of them say it's a historic building and we need to preserve it and make it into little this and that. Yes, this old school. So I don't know what the right answer is because I don't really know.
If I'm not mistaken, and correct me if I'm wrong, DOT is slated to widen 20 at some point.
It's not really, it's really affecting Jamie, me, that side. It's not.
It's not coming
Oh,
off.
20,
Yeah.
20, yeah, one day, I mean.
Yeah.
It would be from my
It'd be a
mom's
little
house
bit.
on down. I
Yeah.
don't think it would be down toward Main
You might add
Street.
your,
Toward Lawrenceville and Grayson.
You don't think that I thought I heard something about them coming downtown or coming down through here.
they could, that'd just be a
Because-
lane, it'd be 10 feet.
Well, that lane's gonna be that whole end of that.
Or you just make it a little bit smaller and they'll shift it.
Okay, we'll shoot it up a little bit. I was just.
Yeah, I mean,
you're
that's the
good.
thing, it's like, you hear that it's gonna happen, and then you guys know DOT, nothing happens, and so.
Call and ask for the projection of DOT.
Oh, yeah.
Or we
Yeah, like
could we just
answer
move
that.
this down if they?
That's what we're saying, you would just shift it down.
Yeah. And this might, honestly, this might be
We're
too progressive for what
Until it's not.
people in Loganville want. It might be too much. It might be, like, this was just me figuring out, like, what could we do? But, like, the pictures are pretty and I like it.
My thing is what's to keep from the city hall being built, the new city hall being incorporated
In
into
there
that
somewhere.
area to begin with, and with supporting buildings like this. I mean, that would be an awesome spot for it to be built.
They might have to too, they might.
Even that corner building right there, because they could cut this drive off and make it a little bigger.
You know, as much as I'd hate saying this, but if you did something like that, if it was possible to do that with the new city hall there, this would open this up to what I would call more spatial residential area where the old city hall is. And maybe have a more park if you leave the center, if you leave it the town green where it is, you want some sort of, recreation
Area over here,
but
yeah.
none of that, high density development right there.
No,
That's the last thing
and
we want.
the Main Street buildings, from what I understand from my research, is we want them to be 2-story. That
Yeah.
single story do not look good, they look. So you
Yeah.
could have that, but we don't necessarily have to do the 2-story over there in front of where the current
Well,
city hall
well,
is.
the good thing about doing a new city hall, that is a two-story building, even with a little clock tower like that.
Mhm.
Even if the city hall didn't use it all then, the capacity can grow, that city hall would be able to absorb it. Cause I've watched what's going on in Stockbridge right now,
Mhm.
and I see what's going on in Conyers. I mean, they went up 3 stories, and I think they're building 3-story additions down in Conyers right now, to accommodate their government offices and stuff. So that kind of building right there would actually meet current needs and future needs if it was a 2-story building, even if it wasn't occupied,
Okay.
you know?
So, and then that leaves us after that, or whoever takes over after we do all this amazing stuff and change, we're gonna name this Terry Parsons Pavilion.
So I think.
But that leaves everything at the current city hall building over to that street that we can then develop into even more. But I think with the 3 different spots with 254, then it doesn't make one of them the center of town, so none of the road suffers or gets like choked off because we built 3 different places where you can. Obviously, they'll have to do some work about making it walkable, like the sidewalks will have to, but I think, and again, Paul and Danny aren't here, I think we could require like, okay, if you want this, build this area right here in front of our city hall to build this, we need you to fix our sidewalks all the way up and down Main Street. Cause we need Main Street to be completely walkable for these 3
The only thing
places.
you're gonna have to do here to reduce traffic impact is, a lot of people would use this as a cut through to go
Mhm.
through here. So you'd have to figure out some way to keep that from occurring, you know, maybe make it a left, a right out only. That way people aren't using it to cut through.
Yeah.
To go in, you see what I'm saying?
I like the Publix.
I was also thinking, like,
Right
you see where these parking ones are right on the side?
Yeah.
And they have that little area there. I wonder if they could open that so you could get to the other parking without going around the whole, you know what I mean? Because they're gonna need that overflow parking. Again, this is years out, or could be a year or 2 out. But if they could open it up so all that parking is open, that opens all of Main Street to that parking too. Because
You mean where it goes by the picnic tables?
just right outside here.
Yeah, I know. That goes
Yeah,
by
are
the
there picnic tables here?
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
picnic tables over there, and there's a jungle gym set, and, there's all kinds of stuff right over there.
I'm just talking about like right behind the
I know,
parking.
you told me
Oh.
to go right across here over into that parking lot, right? Well, there's.
No, not that, but she's just saying this parking lot.
Just right
where
here,
the
like,
government people park.
Where like
Okay.
Jamie and Michael
Connected
parked,
to
and
the big
then
parking
there's
lot?
like no, it's not, you have to drive all the way around.
To the other parking lot?
Off
Yeah.
the rock gym to get there. So if they could build a little path, like a road through there to get to that parking, then this development, you could just drive and park all the way over here. But if you look at Monroe, which we always compare ourselves to, it's often you will park that far and walk all the way as far as like Tire Dock, because their parking is so spread out. If they opened up this, then all their parking on this side would open, at least until you get some parking here. Just an idea, it might not be one that's plausible or.
So this is 2031, this is 2027, 2028, and we're at 2026.
And we got 2026 down, so we've got years of plans, so somebody tell the people who said we ain't doing nothing that we did some stuff.
What happens if you die?
Right on it.
I'll be replaced by a mini.
Okay, so that is the future land transactions. And then I had on there approved for sale sign placement on 254, but I don't think we can because I do need to talk to Danny because I don't believe we can be contacted directly. And Michael, you might know this. They can't contact us, right?
You can't contact Danny because if the city sells the property, it's somebody's with it. And you'd have to have Danny's, now RFQ will be posted on, I guess, the city's website or the state website.
So we just have to direct them to the RFQ.
Before you do any sign, you gotta have your RFQ.
Oh yeah, no, we weren't going, I was just trying to get everything so when it's ready to be done like immediately and we're not moving. But I don't think that this can be,
My only other comment about the sign is it's gotta reference the RFQ because if you just take open bids from anybody walking by, and you're undermining the RFQ.
well, it says CRRFQ.
I know.
Oh, okay.
That's when you said put up for sale sign, I thought you were talking about it's like a regular.
Oh, no,
We
no, no,
were.
no.
We
Oh,
were.
we were?
We were.
That's what I thought you were.
Actually, when I started, I was gonna put Terry's phone number on here. I was like, they're not calling me.
549, go down, please.
Yeah,
Hook you right up.
that's why I was like, okay, they're not calling me, so I'm
Just
gonna put
don't
Terry's
get
phone
my
number.
cell phone number.
And don't
And
text
call
me
early in the morning.
before 9 a.m. Yeah, so we have to get a little bit more, so they can't contact Danny directly either.
Well, you'll have to ask Danny, but
I don't think so, I think
I don't
Michael's right.
think if the city gets involved in it and the city's selling it and they have self-possibility.
Well, the only reason I put that is because I looked at the last RFQ we did and it had Danny as the contact. But it was to mail your RFQ stuff.
That was,
We just have
not
to
for
figure out
sale
the
problem, that
communication,
was
that's all.
for,
Yeah.
contracts.
Yeah, so I have, like I said, it's on here, here's a preliminary.
That's
we can-
when, before you put a sign up, I would talk to Paul about it.
Oh, yeah, we won't do anything.
Add real estate agent to Tara's.
Danny may not want his name on
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, we didn't find out
Reach out to
that.
real estate
And then this is
representatives.
what, like a banner?
Yeah, it would be a banner that we would nail up.
Here.
Listen, Danny is had it up to
You
here
sell cars.
with me just doing whatever I want. So
She does
I said
everything.
in 2026, I'm gonna ask Danny instead of just do what I want and I give him stress, so. I'm not
And you are
putting
trying to
any
make
signs
him
up, yeah. He's gonna love me by the end of this year.
This is
I've
the year.
heard to ask for forgiveness.
I know, but I feel like I'm
Okay,
I've
so
heard
where
there
are
are
we
people
on
that are
the
far
agenda?
worse.
we are at the end of the agenda. We are at adjournment, so we need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
I say,
All right, and do we have any public comment out there?
public comment? Don't get your stress level up now.
My name is Lee Phillips, I live at, is it on now?
I think so, yeah.
No,
Hello?
Oh, I heard that, I thought it was breathing.
the battery's probably dead.
Battery's
There
probably.
you go.
There you go.
It's on now? Okay, Lee Phillips, 4421 Pecan Street, and I just want to congratulate y'all because in this short time this year, y'all have already put together more of a comprehensive idea plan than any other group that has come to Loganville to do any planning. Y'all have put together more than what I've seen in the past 10 to 15 years from anybody else. I think all the concepts are solid, I like them. The hard part is not the concept, the hard part is the details which y'all have to work out. But I have faith in knowing that the concept you presented is of a good quality, that y'all are gonna do the right thing on the details. Like I said before, the facades on buildings are the simplest thing to work out, because the structure is always gonna be built in the way that structures are built, but the facades are things that can be controlled, and that's one of the easiest things to do. So I don't see a problem with any of these ideas. I don't see a problem why any developer would have a problem with any of the stipulations that y'all would put on them for the look of the town. And I'm excited to see these projects get going. I think though that these other ones should be a lot closer in being presented to the city council so that they are forced to move a little bit faster than what they usually tend to move on doing things in our town. And I just want to congratulate y'all again, because I've seen more tonight in y'all's presentation and the photographs. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to put something together. Now me, I'm not well equipped when it comes to putting my ideas that are in my head down on a piece of paper using AI and all that stuff. Great job on yours. Your presentation photos and all, I think, are spot on with the two-story looks and all that. I like everything. Good job, y'all.
Thank you. And also, I think it's worth saying, we have spent $0 to get to this point.
Oh, no.
Well,
Zero. I'm sorry, we did pay for Terry to be trained.
Not only that though, too, Lee, not only that, I'm optimistic because we've got a city council, that is behind us to do this. And that means a lot too, because I've talked to several of the council members and they're all like, let's roll. And now we're here and we're gonna roll. It all depends on who comes up to swing the bat for us from the developer side, but we've got a game plan. And we're excited too.
One more comment. This building and this property needs to be just like the idea for this corner of the parking lot over here, that needs to be expanded all the way down. The track is useless. All these things that we have here besides the rock gym and the building next to it, this stuff is not historical. Cinder block buildings are not of a historical value, in my opinion. Granite rock buildings and other buildings which actually hold relevance are. Yeah, this was Loganville's high school, but we used to have a beautiful brick building, 2-story high school building in Loganville back in the early 1900s, and it's long been gone. It wasn't saved for the purposes of historical buildings in Loganville. I don't think there would be a problem in developing not just this corner, but this whole section down through here. And we could still have City Hall incorporated in this development if we wanted to leave it here, but have so much more that we could get into this space right here, because this is a lot of wasted space. I like the idea of doing something with the upper part of the library right there. I think maybe, I don't know what the situation is on the brick house on the back side of the library at the corner of Lucy Street and Covington Street. I don't know if it's for sale, but I do know that home is not suitable because it has foundation issues that you can look at the brick and tell that building is not worth saving. So that's a potential corner lot that can be added into the library and upper part of Lucy Street construction in the future probably. And so utilizing the space available, but still keeping the facades to match the town and attract people. And one other thing, if you move the town green, you will be ripping out the heart of Loganville, because that is what draws people to the downtown. Those events that we have in the summertime bring people that would otherwise never come to the downtown Main Street area. If we move it somewhere else, we're not gonna get those people and their foot traffic in the downtown. It just won't happen. But if we keep that and we have the events, I would say do something to have more events on the green and utilize the bringing in of people to see the businesses and the growth of downtown. People are gonna see what's going on. Everybody ain't gonna like it. I love trees myself, but we need to have an arborist look at the trees, do cores on the trees to see if the center of them have rot. If the centers are gone, it's inevitable that the tree is gonna be a safety hazard to pedestrians or people that are under the tree. If it is city property or somebody else's property, after it's been developed that the trees are left on, this can be a serious lawsuit injury. The ones at the library, a lot of people got upset about those, but I'm gonna tell you, knowing what those trees look like when they cut those trees down, 80% of those trees, 8 out of 10 of those trees, I know there probably wasn't 10, but that's how many were bad and needed to come down so that they wouldn't be a safe. If we'd have left that little sitting part down there, it was inevitable, one of those trees, somebody would have been hurt from falling limbs off of those dead trees. So we have to have an arborist
Well,
inspect
you're
the
getting
trees.
into the minutia of the development, I mean, that would take place no matter what.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, so you're right about all that, but just wait till we get, an AI vision of the old library.
And we're gonna use 254 as the basis. I
Yeah.
think now we know how to do it, and one thing we did right in the beginning was that we polled people, so we know what people want there, and I don't think that's a bad idea to do as we move on to each project.
And we
Like, how do you
don't
guys
have a
feel?
problem at all with storefronts in front of our property in that area right there.
Yeah.
2 stories are fine, but I think 3 stories, like y'all say, a 3-story building, would be a little bit too much and outside the ordinary for
Well, even
Loganville, so.
if we could develop it in a way where we do leave those trees down through Pecan Street and down Bobby Boss in some fashion, I think that adds to the canopy of Loganville, and that's kind of what we're looking at too, so.
But we wanna make sure all
Yeah.
citizens have if we hear today that they hate all our ideas, we will go back to the drawing table and we will do it again, because everyone, majority rules, and we like these ideas, but we understand other people might not, so we wanna make sure we're not here to do what we want, we're here to do what citizens want.
I say, roll with the ideas that you got. If don't nobody come up to this podium and say something and express their ideas, it's their own fault if they don't like it.
That's gonna be my comment tonight, when I get on there to fight. Don't nobody come to the podium, so.
That's exactly right. That's what I live by.
Wherever the camera's at, if you wanna be involved with what's going on in our town, you got to come down and be involved.
All right, any more, Melanie, do you have any public comment? Our guest of honor?
No, thank you.
Terry Mountain? Not right now, I'm waiting.
All right, this meeting is adjourned.
All right, everybody, we're gonna cut this one right here. Y'all be safe out there, be good to one another, do something kind for someone, and y'all have a blessed day.
I gotta be